Good afternoon, people. How are you? Welcome back to the stream. Hope you're having a good Sunday afternoon or evening, depending on where you're tuning in from. And hey, it's July 4th, so happy Independence Day to our American friends. If you're tuning in here on Independence Day, you're in the right place. Welcome. We're back on another Sunday. We're doing another live stream, and I hope that our regulars are doing well and that anyone who's new is also, looking to stick around for a bit and enjoy themselves. On today's stream, I wanted to chat with you guys and answer some questions, yes, as usual, but I also wanted to do a bit of trip planning because I have some trips of my own to plan and to think about, and to also get some of your input on the trips that I anticipate taking as well. Let me know how the video quality is and how the audio quality is. I know that recently there's been some lags, some challenges, and it's always making me feel super awkward about it. So I've actually have, not because of this stream, but separately, I actually have set up a new computer here in my office. So I hope it's a little bit better than before, but yeah, let me know how the situation is. And otherwise, whether you have found us through our YouTube videos or through princeoftravel.com, our website, or wherever you found us, welcome to our Sunday stream. We're trying to make this a regular thing, and I hope that, I hope we'll be able to join here on Sundays. Let's try to make it this time as regularly as possible, on as many weeks as possible. Although sometimes stuff happens on Sunday, so sometimes I can't make it. But so far I've been doing well, and I'll definitely try to pop on as much as I can. Okay, yeah, videos looks good. Somebody said the video quality is poor. Listen, we will be doing our best to make that better in the future. Let's try to, get a couple of questions answered. David, you had a question up here. How old you are? I am 27. 27 years young. Oz. Hey, Oz. Thanks for tuning in, and thank you for, as always, your dedication both here on the channel and over in the blog comments. Always nice to hear from you. You just got your second shot today. You're going to take a long nap, and I mean, if you're looking to be put to sleep, then this is probably not the right place for you, because we've got some exciting developments to talk about, and obviously planning trips is always something very exciting to do. Speaking of the second shot, though, I also scheduled my own second shot for next week here in Vancouver, and 2 weeks after that I will be considered fully vaccinated. And I think I can speak for all of us when I say that the whole nightmare in terms of travel, in terms of not being able to travel places, is coming to an end soon, hopefully. I think at the start of actually tomorrow 12:01 a.m. Eastern time is when fully vaccinated Canadians can re-enter without quarantine. And I think when that was first announced, we were all very quick to pronounce the resumption of travel. I think we do have to be a little bit still cautious as we plan our trips, but things are definitely looking good. Things are definitely looking better than before. Yeah, you look tired. Yeah, guys, jet lag has been taking its toll. Jet lag tends to be, a situation where for me at least, the first couple of days you get home and it's not much of a big deal, but then give it a few days and then it's like, especially if I'm supposed to be, staying at home, it's like 5 p.m., 6 p.m., and why not take a nap? And when you take a nap, it's like, why not wake up at 11 p.m. accidentally? So despite my best laid plans to try to avoid jet lag, it has been taking a toll, and that's why today is a coffee at 4 p.m. kind of day. All right, nice to see the greetings and the questions trickling in. Again, thank you guys for joining on your Sunday afternoons and evenings. I see some very familiar faces, and so it's always nice to have your support here on the stream. So thank you for tuning in. Sophia, your question, are we able to use the worldwide companion pass to upgrade the fare? So can you book economy and potentially use e-upgrades to upgrade? Yeah, you can. You can actually book Latitude if you wanted to too, but Latitude tends to be super expensive, so that you have to compare the price of Latitude economy compared to business class directly and see if it makes sense using your annual companion pass to book Latitude economy or flex economy as you mentioned, and then upgrade into business. I would say if you're interested in flying business, that's probably the only way to use that companion pass. Otherwise, it's economy class only, and the value on it is, it's debatable because you've still got to pay for the second passenger on the companion pass. I do plan to write an article about it. Those of you, you guys know that we try to write these guides to as many of the features as possible, and personally, I'm just waiting for my companion pass to post to my Aeroplan account before I actually write that. It is kind of taking its sweet time, even though I met the 25K spending requirement back in April using some, let's call it revolutionary methods. If you know, you know. So when that companion pass drops in my account, that'll be the first thing I look at, trying to redeem it, try to find the value. Ash, you had a question. My friend is moving to Canada in a month. What's the first card he should get? If he's moving to Canada in a month, it's July 4th. If he's getting here before August 3rd, then the question is either the Platinum card or the American Express Aeroplan Reserve card at the 150K offers. And if you're trying to decide between the two, we've made a bunch of content this past week to help people decide. Personally, I think leaning towards the Platinum card still because of the lower net annual fee and the wider range of lounge benefits. But the Aeroplan Reserve is a very strong contender too. And obviously, if you're in the position to go for both, go for both. All right. When's the haircut appointment? Listen, Trevor, I don't know. I think it's time to change things up a bit. So we'll see when that happens. I'm thinking of no longer going so short on the sides compared to before. Is it hot here? The heat wave is over. Heat wave passed by earlier this week, so it's actually reasonably, I don't know, 25, 30 degrees, less than 30 degrees. And so, Monday, Tuesday was rough though. Thankfully, we do have air conditioning at home, which is good. But yeah, it was rough. Any tips on how to take advantage of Shop Small on the Amex USA credit cards? So we wrote an article about this last year during the last year's Shop Small promotion, and there's an app called Flues which seems to code successfully as Shop Small. You can buy gift cards for various retailers through Flues, and it will code as Shop Small and give you that credit. And you can buy many retailers that do actually allow these gift cards to be used in Canada. I think Starbucks was one, but somebody commented it's no longer available on Flues. So I think Chick-fil-A was the other. If you live in Toronto, you have that Chick-fil-A at Yonge and Bloor that you can go to. That'll probably be something to try out. Otherwise, Anthony, yeah, the 24/7 parcel, that's a good one too. That counted last year, and so this year it should count too. Jenny Mercer, tried to book an award on Singapore Airlines, and they have suspended partner access. Any comments? Well, I think it's just a matter of they suspended partner access because they don't want partners booking up all the seats when Singapore Airlines themselves doesn't even know which flights they're going to operate, which flights they're going to cancel. So until they have some more clarity there, I think it's going to remain suspended. However, there was some encouraging news this week coming out of Singapore in terms of Singapore's reopening to tourists, so that should spell the resumption of Singapore Airlines' routes, and once that happens, we can then book Singapore Airlines too. I myself am keenly watching that because I do have some, trips or ideas that I want to do around Southeast Asia, maybe to the Maldives, and Singapore Airlines is kind of the dominant carrier. If you want to get to the Maldives through Asia, then it's pretty much your only option. So we're all keenly awaiting that. When does quarantine end for me? Friday. Friday is my last day. And then I hope to be done with quarantine, just the whole concept of travel during a pandemic and quarantining. I think somebody commented that I probably earned quarantine elite status by this point, which is probably true. If I counted up between my quarantine upon returning to Canada last year and then quarantine in Shanghai, quarantine in Hong Kong, quarantine in Vancouver, it has gotten pretty long. So after the vaccines, after getting fully vaccinated, we should be all good. There's a Chick-fil-A in Yorkdale. I didn't know that. All right. The Young and Bloor one is poison enough for me. How do you spell fluz? It's F-L-U-Z or F-L-U-Z, I guess. And it's a pretty useful app for just buying gift cards in general because they have a loyalty program built in. And if you refer your friends, you can actually get referral bonuses. And if you buy gift cards, you actually get cash back in the form of flus, which you can redeem for more gift cards. So it's actually a fairly good app to use if you're in the US game. However, I do seem to recall, somebody please update me here in the chat. US Shop Small this year, is it still $50 or have they made it like $20 or $10? I seem to have only gotten a $10 offer on one of my cards. I think it was statement credit of $5 twice. So that's less exciting than it was last year for sure. But we have enough Shop Small to keep us occupied north of the border, especially if you got multiple cards, and especially if you get supplementary cards and sign them all up for Shop Small too. Because there's really no limit to how much Shop Small you can get. At some point, it's really just gonna not be worth your while to keep chasing $5 discounts on $10 purchases. But if you do want to load them up, listen, Marriott Bonvoy card, Cobalt card, unlimited, maybe not unlimited, up to 9 supplementary cards for every card, and those supplementary cards can be registered for Shop Small. So I'll let you guys think that through. We've got a super chat in chat, and I just want to say a quick thank you to SN Plow for sending that in. Thanks for your support, and thanks, even if you aren't sending in the super chats, I appreciate you swinging by on the Sundays. We're trying to make this a regular community thing that we can all kind of participate in, get behind as we look forward to future adventures. It looks like today's chat is there's plenty going on. When are you traveling internationally? I'll probably go to the US at some point this summer. That'll be a week-long trip or so. Maybe we'll get to trip planning on this stream later on. I want to do some domestic trip planning, and then US, and then international. After the US, it'll be probably in the fall that I take my first international trip. And I've got a few speculative, well, it was originally speculative bookings lined up for Europe, Middle East, Africa, which is kind of the part of the world that's most likely to be open around late 2021. So actually, I'll share with you guys all the details of those trips as we do the trip planning. In fact, it's 1:15, so let's just get started there. I'll just boot it up and keep seeing what you guys are saying. People are saying how there's yeah, tons of shop small to be doing, and I agree. There's too much. It's too much. Especially if you've got like 10 plus cards. At some point, I don't know. Here, at some point, I'm gonna call into question the utility of spending your time chasing and tracking and logging in and seeing if the credits have posted on a bunch of $5 credits on $10 transactions, especially if you're like going out of your way to split up your transactions, or you're like pestering waitresses and waiters to split them up. Having said that, I myself will probably be indulging in more than my fair share of that behavior this summer. So I'm really not one to speak. It's just something to think about, I would say. Ash, are you using Google Fi as your mobile carrier? Nope. I really need a multi-SIM phone. That's what I need, because I still need my Canadian number when I'm traveling these days for work purposes. So what I do is I just roam from home, or roam like home with TELUS, and that costs me I mean, it's not super expensive, it's not cheap either. So people have recommended Google Fi to me, and I feel like I could get my hands on a SIM card without too much trouble, but as far as I understand it, it does replace your SIM card, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. So what I need is one of those fancy phones with dual SIM. Anyway, somebody asked what is better for the travel to Asia, Platinum or Reserve? Feels like everybody is asking that this month. Platinum or Reserve? Platinum or Reserve? I don't know, guys. Let me know your thoughts if you've signed up for one or the other. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And in the meantime, yeah, let me know your thoughts, and then I will also share with you afterwards. All right, so eSIM cards seems like the plan. Apple, Google, International Galaxy. All right. Looks like I have got some... Looks like I need to get with the times. I feel like a boomer right now, talking about eSIM cards. Okay, yeah, just hasn't been on my radar thus far, but I will get it on it. Hey Ben, thanks for tuning in. Hope you're doing well. Thanks for tuning in Sunday evening. iPhones 11, 12. Cool. Okay, sounds like eSIM is the plan. Let me know if anybody knows if TELUS has eSIM. That'll just save me a couple of minutes of Googling, but otherwise I will follow up. Next time we speak, I hope to have a plan in place. All right, how do we do this? Let's see. Cool. All right, I just wanted to share with you guys a couple of trips that I have lined up going forward into the future. Here, I'm gonna throw up Gaussian blur first. Got you. And these are some pretty convoluted Aeroplan redemptions, and these were booked from before the changeover to November 2020. And I booked these trips to the Europe, Middle East, Africa zone, the Atlantic zone as it's known now, because that's the zone that has gotten more expensive compared to the old program, whereas the Pacific zone, Asia, Australia, has gotten more expensive but less so. So the devaluation, right, is more pronounced over on the Atlantic zone compared to the Pacific zone. One has to wonder, this thought just came to me, one has to wonder if Aeroplan knew that Europe and Middle East and Africa were going to reopen first before Asia and Australia. If I were one of those, if I believed that the loyalty programs are always up to no good, which some people do believe, then I would probably subscribe to that belief too. But yeah, anyway, I do feel like they have made the Atlantic zone disproportionately expensive. This is a trip I had booked to West Africa, so Dakar, and actually I'll tell you the story of how I managed to get a little open jaw here in just a little bit. But basically this trip goes to Dakar, Senegal, through Portugal, on TAP Air Portugal from Toronto. We've got the single aisle A321 long range, followed by the TAP Air Portugal A330-900 Neo, both of which are products I haven't flown before. So even though TAP Air Portugal is probably not the world's leading business class, okay, the service is middle of the road. Some people say it's a little bit lackluster, but you know, business class is still better than anything else, especially if you're going to the western tip of Western Europe. You really can't go wrong. So I'm doing that. Well, I'm supposed to do that to Senegal, followed by what's going on here? Right, so my original flight was from Gambia to Bahrain through Istanbul, but it looks like Turkish has canceled this Gambia flight just entirely, so now my schedule is just Istanbul, Bahrain. Unfortunately, that's the situation, and this is something I need to call Aeroplan later to deal with. And what I want to do here is just quickly show you guys the itinerary, and then I'll start doing some searches because I'm curious, you know, what the availability situation is like, and maybe I want to move some dates around, etc. After Bahrain, I'm coming back. You can ignore the dates, by the way. These were just very much dummy dates. I've got Bahrain to Washington, D.C. on the Etihad Dreamliner business class with a long layover too in Abu Dhabi. Now, I had previously gone to Abu Dhabi on, like, I would call it a short layover because I had taken the taxi service or a car service from Dubai into town. I got to visit the Grand Mosque, and then I was basically off on a flight the next day. So I think there's still plenty to check out in Abu Dhabi, and I'm happy that I have a long layover there. 16 hours should be decent. There are a couple of nice hotels that I want to check out too. And Abu Dhabi, Washington, that's in business. So when I booked this, I had not flown Etihad Business yet, so I was looking forward to doing that. But I have since flown it, so now the whole novelty factor of Etihad Business, still a very nice way to travel. Probably one of the better products in Star Alliance, but the whole novelty factor isn't quite there for me anymore. So I'm thinking potentially to change this, if possible. And then after Washington, just a quick, okay, hold on, what's going on here? So I think before I had a 24-hour layover here in Washington, and now it's over 24 hours. It's 24 hours and 5 minutes, but because this was an involuntary change, I should be allowed to keep it. Here's a tip for you guys. If you have a 24-hour layover and you've got an involuntary change that results in your layover being longer than 24 hours, most of the time the Aeroplan agent will just let you keep it, and you just get a little bonus time at the destination as a result, especially if there's no alternative flights that you can be on. Can't really plan for it, isn't really something that you can plan around, but when it happens, it's nice to take advantage of. So this is the itinerary that I wanted to just quickly go over now, and I'm gonna, let's pop this up. And then, knowing the itinerary, let's go ahead and search for some availability. And I'll also address some of the chat. Quickly, you guys have lots of questions. Do you think e-upgrades will be rolled over and extended till next year, past December 31st? I assume, no, I don't think so, because, I mean, they already didn't extend it this year, so why would they extend it next year? I don't think they will. I need to talk to you guys about change policies with Aeroplan and old points prices. So that's a conversation we need to have, and we'll have that conversation as we do the search. So my trip was planned for, I don't know if you recall from earlier in the stream, it was planned for this weekend, but now, late August, there's going to be other plans. Can't really say too much just yet. Hint, hint, potentially doing an in-person event that weekend, depending on how the reopening situation goes. If not that weekend, then some other time in September or October. But basically I need to move this to some other time. So let's do, I don't know, like third week of September. Let's do this Sunday. Just want to see what the situation is like in terms of availability along the whole way. All right, so more chatter about eSIMs, and I'm definitely gonna follow up. Visit Halifax soon again. Yeah, for sure. Whenever, I mean, I think Atlantic Canada is open to fully vaccinated travelers, so as soon as I'm fully vaccinated, that's the plan. Okay, I'm a little bit surprised that there's no business class space on my first search, just random search, honestly, for Toronto-Lisbon. This has always been a rather plentiful route for business class. Let's do a few neighboring dates here. Right, guys, I've heard that, a lot of people complain, right? A lot of people say that it's just really challenging to do the searches just because there's no calendar search. You kind of have to go day by day. And listen, that's my reality too. This is obviously not ideal because we've got Air Canada dynamic pricing here on Toronto-Lisbon. And I think what we're really seeing here, both the shortage of TAP Air Portugal space, right? There's no space here in business, and the fact that dynamic pricing is so high on Air Canada, we are really seeing the symptoms of the resurgence in demand for travel. Everybody is looking to travel to Europe this summer, this fall. That's what happens as a result, especially on the weekend, right? We're looking at Saturday and Sunday. I'm hoping that on the weekdays we'll see better results, and I'm hoping that because obviously I'm fortunate to have the flexibility to travel on the weekdays. If you're a weekend traveler, you would be best advised to start planning, sooner rather than later for any travel you want to embark on. Look, it's still going this way. Okay, we need to be more efficient, right? We need to be more efficient with our searches. And so I'm gonna pull up, I actually don't mind taking a couple of levers. So in this case, I may select something like the one through London, the one through Frankfurt. Oh, that's mixed cabin. So always hover over it. If it's 23% in mixed cabin on a routing like this, you know that it's not what you want. London Heathrow looks like it has the dynamic space at the lower end. Same with Amsterdam. On a regular pre-pandemic times, I would love 21 hours in Amsterdam, but I'm not sure how good of an idea it might be for this fall, if this trip even comes to pass. We need to be more efficient. So since we're doing searches, the whole point is that I'm going to show you guys what I normally do when I'm searching for space. So let's log into Expert Flyer, and we will give it a go there. And I'll just do the week-long search, both to kind of illustrate and also because I want to see what the search is like. It does seem kind of sparse. Sorry. There we go. Couple of things here in chat. Lucas, may I come fly as well, please? You are welcome to join, my friend. I don't see why not. Although, probably being a bit too generous there, but if anybody does run into me along the journey, then don't hesitate to say hi. I did want to get through some more of these chats. PEI is reopening at the end of this month, for sure. Sounds like in keeping with most of the Atlantic provinces. Do you actually compare business class points to the cash fare, or do you just generally eyeball it? So that's a great question that we will use to kind of segue into expert flyer searching. What are we doing? Toronto, Lisbon, and I'm curious about TAP Air Portugal because actually, to illustrate that point, I will bring you on to yet another service after I select what's going on here. September, or this weekend, plus or minus 3 days. So this is the key feature of Expert Flyer that we always champion, right? This is why I say the $100 a year is hella worth it, because you can search 7 days at a time. As long as you know the given route quantity and class of service that you're looking for. So in my case, I'm looking for Toronto, Lisbon. And the reason for that is I'm gonna show you guys, but this is really the time saver that, at least until Aeroplan introduces calendar search for international routes that lets you filter by class, which at this rate they'll be available by mid 2022 if we're lucky. That was earlier, we were on Expert Flyer. Now I wanted to show you guys briefly, flight connections, because I just want to help you understand why we are using Expert Flyer. Basically, as you'll recall, let that load for a second. Basically, it's a great way to find which airlines fly where and answer that question, and then kind of answer the question of which airlines should you be searching for. Somebody commented in the chat, mixed cabin is a mess. And yeah, it is. That's why whenever multiple airlines show up, you kind of need to filter through and only go for the ones you're looking for. Speaking of mixed cabins, speaking of dynamic pricing, sorry. Will, your question, do you compare business class against the cash fare? Rarely, actually, rarely. And that's because if I'm redeeming Aeroplan points at the lower end of the dynamic range, which is what I always try to do, right? I take lots of comfort in the fact that it will almost always be an excellent use of points. And, you know, if there is a cash fare that is so generous, that is so cheap in business class, that would make the points redemption not that good of a value, then I probably would have already heard about it. Because I keep a very close eye on Flyer Talk premium deals, and I keep a very close eye on, Secret Flying, all these websites. And we have, we're in a lot of group chats talking about the flight deals, including, by the way, shameless plug here, our Prince of Travel Discord group over on Discord. But it's part of the Patreon membership, so if you're interested in that, check it out. But that's just an example of one out of many group chats that you can be in after you've networked with a community that talks about fare deals, that talks about cheap business class fares. Let's say anything less than $2,000 in business class. Compare that against the points redemption. Let's say $2,000 from North America to Europe. That is pretty good. Or North America to Middle East, Africa, that area. That is pretty good. And if you were to compare that to the points redemption, what is going on here? You're getting maybe 2.5 cents per point in value if you were to redeem points. And arguably that's not as good as the 3 or 4 or 5 cents per point in value that you could get if there was no cheap cash fare. Anyway, we're going on a bit of a tangent, but what I'm saying is if there is a cheap cash fare, which you would know about if you're paying close attention, if you're in one of these circles, then that could be a better idea than redeeming points. Anyway, here's Dakar, Senegal, which is where I'm trying to go at some point, hopefully in 2021. We'll see if they allow us in. I actually, after this, we should look up the country restrictions too. But the point is, you can filter here on flight connections for Star Alliance, and once you filter that, you see that, okay, you've got TAP Air Portugal to Lisbon, and you can click on it and see that it's actually TAP over here. You've got Brussels Airlines to Brussels, and you've got Turkish Airlines to Istanbul. Those are basically your three options. And once you know that, you know which cities to connect through, which airlines to look for, and so on and so forth. Anyway, back to Expert Flyer. We were looking at availability on Toronto-Lisbon on this A321 long range, and looks like it's a bunch of no's throughout. See, this is what happens when, I guess, it's been a while since I personally have actually hopped on to plan some trips myself, just because it's been a busy time, and take a few weeks off from watching award availability like a hawk, and it seems like stuff can just go, especially with the recent surge in travel that we've been seeing. I've just put in another search, by the way, for Montreal Lisbon, which is another route that TAP flies, and we'll just see what the situation is there. Let's check it out. Looks like Montreal Lisbon is a series of no's as well. Oh, God forbid needing to connect through the US if it's even available. Okay. All right. This kind of is a nice little segue into the other topic that I wanted to both ask you guys about and yeah, have a discussion on, which is I want to know people's experiences with changing their Aeroplan awards for different dates. But, you know, if these Aeroplan awards were booked prior to the November 2020 changeover, but keeping the old price point, what are people's experiences there? If anybody does have experiences, please do shout them out here in the chat, because I've heard a whole range of experiences, and it does sound like you may even need to call in a few times to get an agent who will let you do what you want. Because some agents will say, even if you had a schedule change, like we saw the very rough schedule changes that I had on my old itinerary, like entire flights getting canceled. Some agents will say, even if that's the case, you can only move your dates by, and this varies too, they might say like by a few days or by a week or by a month in order to keep the old pricing. And if you want to move it by, let's say into 2022, you have to pay the new Aeroplan points price. And in the case of something like my itinerary, like we can even price it out using yet another tool that makes sense to share with you guys. What are we doing? Toronto, Lisbon, Senegal, Banjul, right? Banjul, Gambia, Istanbul, Bahrain. That would be another bound, and then Bahrain, Abu Dhabi, Toronto would be, Washington, Toronto would be a third bound. So this would be 3 separate bounds. The story here, I said I would tell you the story. The story of why I got this little open jaw to work is because of schedule changes. So yeah, I managed to find a rather flexible agent who was happy to let me change my initial stopover in Banjul. Yeah, what happened here is I initially only booked a stopover in Banjul on the way to Bahrain. And if you'll recall from the old Aeroplan, you were able to do one stopover on route to the destination. So that was my original itinerary. And then TAP canceled this entire flight, Lisbon-Banjul. They just canceled it. No more flights throughout the schedule. Maybe they've restored it now, who knows? But at the time, no more flights. So I just said to the agent, okay, Senegal is close to it, and I can either fly, I think it's a $300 flight on like Air Senegal or something, which would make for a very interesting flight, or I could take an overland journey if I'm feeling really adventurous. Probably not gonna happen, but let's not rule it out. So I'm gonna say like, hey, Aeroplan agent, can you just book me on Lisbon, Senegal, because I wanna go there anyway? And they were happy to oblige. So that was an example of an agent who was flexible and who, you know, listened to my, I would think, pretty reasonable request and made it happen. But I've also heard agents who refuse to budge when it comes to old versus new itineraries. So I do think it has a huge degree of variation, and I anticipate needing a fair bit of time to call in and fix this whole thing before the departure date. Tyler, thank you for tuning in all the way from Newfoundland. I believe that's where you're based. Correct me if I'm wrong. What Marriott hotel do you recommend in St. John's? If you're not in Newfoundland, I know you're definitely in the Atlantic provinces somewhere. I stayed at the Delta St. John's. I thought it was nice. It's either the Delta or the Sheraton, I think. That's a decent points redemption. And Delta had a nice club lounge, and they gave me breakfast vouchers, even though they didn't have to. So that was nice of them. Newfoundlanders, obviously super hospitable, and had a really great experience at check-in too. Just really nice front desk agent over there. But if you're going to St. John's, supposedly you're also meant to consider some non-Bonvoy hotels. That was the tip that I was given back in the day, back when I visited. This was in late 2019. And what is the one that, Tyler, if there's any Newfoundlanders who know, feel free to shout them out here, because otherwise we will... I forgot what the Newfoundland hotel was, but I'll let you know if I think of it. Thanks to you, I'm a points addict now. Well, can't take too much credit for that. We are, after all, a huge community here, and it's definitely quite addicting. I will say that. Would you recommend Beijing 2022? I honestly don't know if foreign visitors will be allowed. Thomas, I don't know if it'll be allowed. Okay, wait. Tyler, you're not based in Newfoundland. Sorry, you said you're planning a vacation there. My bad. Yeah, Beijing 2022. It seems like I heard my family sent me stories recently where China's travel restrictions are probably going to be in place until mid 2022. It seems like Hong Kong is more likely to open before that. Personally, I'm thinking if I can't go back to the mainland for Chinese New Year, I might do Hong Kong, and I'll just meet my family there. Depends on how the situation goes. Ooh, Alan, Fogo Island, yes, but that's not in St. John's, right? That's all the way in Fogo Island. And that'll be one for when I have a bit more cash to blow. Thomas, have you confirmed your cross-country road trip? Nothing is confirmed, but that is currently scheduled for the first week of September, after the little thing that I hinted at in the last week of August. You know, the thing is, guys, summer just comes and goes super quick. So actually, for most of July and August, my partner and I were planning a couple of quick weekend trips around here, around BC. We're doing Bowen Island next weekend, and that's just a quick day trip from Vancouver. Quick ferry from Horseshoe Bay. We're gonna do that for a day trip, and then the in-laws are gonna come visit, and we'll probably head up to Squamish for another day trip, weekend trip, and then after that, the Yukon trip that I mentioned last time is happening the weekend after. So actually, all my weekends are fairly jam-packed. You guys will be lucky if we get a couple of live streams throughout the summer. I'm gonna try to keep these live streams going, time permitting. But yeah, between Bowen Island, and then after that we've got Yukon, and then I think Salt Spring Island as well. That's another island that we were interested in checking out and doing a couple of hikes and day trips and overnights. But yeah, at the end of the summer, I do hope to get that road trip done and properly get my driving license too. Where were we? All right, let's get back to, like somebody commented here, we're back to doing around the world trips. So you're right, there's no reason we can't do both. There's no reason we cannot be diversified in our travel. Will China remain closed through all of 2022? Jenny, I think winter and spring. I think by summer, if vaccinations go well in the mainland, and I don't know, let's call it that. Let's hope that China and North American countries and Europe and stuff will be able to mutually recognize the vaccines, because that will play a major part, I think, in opening up travel. And if that's the case, I think so. I think mid 2022, certainly I hope so, because I really want to go back all the time. And it's like in the past I was able to just book a flight, and if I have my 10-year visa, like I'm sure some of you do, which has unfortunately been suspended for the time being. In the past it was never like a huge deal. Now it's, part of what makes me the most sad about the pandemic is how separated it has made us. How it has separated ties that were previously very close. We've got a Yukon. Have we got a Yukon reader here, a reviewer? La's your name. Thanks for tuning in. Meet up in the Yukon. So I'm going with TJ. TJ's our fellow writer over at Prince of Travel, and yeah, we would love to meet you in the Yukon, and we would love to do a quick get together wherever you are. Let me know where you are. Send me an email, and we'll go for a sourdough together, right? That's what it's called. It's a sourdough, where you have a human toe in your cocktail. How come you don't travel much with WestJet? Well, have you seen their loyalty program? Yikes. Yikes. This is not meant to denigrate WestJet, but in any way. You know, I think they do some things well. I think WestJet, I don't know. I mean, like they have a nice elevation lounge in Calgary. It's better than the Air Canada Maple Leaf Lounge there for sure. But in terms of their new loyalty offering, I am not a fan. Not a fan, and WestJet knows it. And you know what? We've had Air Canada folks, like executives, on the stream before. They've been on Anshel's stream, Points, Miles, and Bling. And I hope to have them back again soon. And I've said to WestJet, like, why don't you guys come on the stream so that you can defend this loyalty program and tell us why, you know, what are we missing, you know? And they were like, yeah, we'll think about it. I don't know if we'll be able to get them on. I would love to, and just, and yeah, have them face up to this loyalty program and what the objective of it is. But to answer your question, Dave, why don't you travel much with WestJet? It's probably why. On the loyalty side, there isn't much to get excited about, and you know, I recognize that WestJet is a small airline, a challenger airline. They're second in the market. There's limitations to what they can do, but even in light of that, they are not really pulling their weight, in my opinion. Anyway, I've shown you guys this trip before. Just a quick recap. This is in October, and I also hope to make it happen. If I'm being like fully, you know, like recognizing of the situation, I would probably be pretty lucky if I managed to make one of these two trips that we're talking about happen this fall. But I still think it's, you know, why not aim for both? So here I've got Istanbul, like Turkish Airlines business class to Georgia, and then Ukraine, and then back on LOT. Arguably not the most exciting in terms of flight products. And so I'm thinking, if I'm able to optimize it, if the Aeroplan agent roulette will let me optimize it and see if I can get some more exciting products booked in there, then I definitely will. This has also been subject to plenty of schedule changes. So what I would like to do is take a look around October as well, mid-October, late October maybe, early November, and see what the situation is in terms of Toronto-Istanbul availability and just transatlantic availability in general. And what I would like to do is extend my stay in Georgia a little bit, because I don't think, what is this? This is barely 3 days. I don't think that's going to be enough, given all of the good things I've heard about that part of the world. That's our little exercise here. I'm going to pop back to Expert Flyer for this because, like I said, I already know what the routes I want are. You know, I already know that I'm looking for Toronto to Istanbul on Turkish. So I'm just going to search for that. And again, the benefit of Expert Flyer is if you already know what you're looking for, then it's a great way to search 1 week at a time. How did you blur your screen? That is a feature of the streaming software. What program do you use to book around the world trips? Most of the time, Aeroplan, sometimes British Airways Avios, in theory also Asia Miles, ANA, Aeromexico. The possibilities are endless. We have lots of guides on Prince of Travel. airplan.com to kind of educate you on the topic. And if you want to know more about one particular one, let me know and we can always do like a future session focused on it. Okay, fortunately there does seem to be plenty of space, Toronto, Istanbul. That is on a 777 though, which is the older product. I'm curious now, and this is a long shot by the way, because I'm not sure if Aeroplan agents will even let me change my origin from Toronto to Vancouver while still keeping that old cheaper points price, but it's worth a shot if I can find direct space on Vancouver, Istanbul, which I know is fairly hotly contested. But look, there you go, Vancouver, Istanbul. If you look, the space is oftentimes there, if you're just flexible enough. In my case, I think this Sunday departure would actually be a decent fit, right? Dreamliner, lie flat seat, onboard chef. Doesn't get much better than that for a Sunday night. Let's go check it out over on Aeroplan. So what I recommend doing is using Expert Flyer to pinpoint the availability and then pop over to Aeroplan to finalize it, because ultimately Aeroplan and Aeroplan agents over the phone can only book what you see on the Aeroplan website itself. Expert Flyer should only be treated as a guideline. It's pretty accurate majority of the times, but sometimes for whatever reason there are mismatches. What was the date? 17th? 17th. Here we go. Do you have a job that helps you rank up points? I guess this is the job. Travel consulting. Yeah, we do consulting. It's a feature on the website. Just a quick notice for you guys that I will probably stop taking consulting calls myself soon, and we'll have our team members Josh, TJ, and Amy taking the consulting calls. Yeah, I get my peaches out in Georgia, for sure. I somehow feel like Justin Bieber was not referring to the country in the Caucasus when he made that song. But if he was, I mean, I don't know, I guess we'll go check out the peaches. There you go, Vancouver, Istanbul, business class on Turkish, 11 hours, 30 minutes. That is, I would say, one of the best ways for West Coasters to cross the Atlantic into the Eastern Europe, Mediterranean, Middle East, Africa, part of the world. Because otherwise you're looking at either connecting through the East Coast or connecting through like San Francisco or Seattle. And that's just another inconvenience if you don't want to go to the US. So the fact that this route exists and that there's a fair bit of availability, even in October, right? Even, we talked about people snapping up availability for the fall, but even in October, there's 4 seats on this flight. That's pretty incredible. Like if I were planning a family trip for the fall, and even if you just wanted to keep it simple, like keep it a simple family trip, but something international to spice it up after it's going to be like a year and a half at home, right? You just want to go to Turkey and come back. You can kind of make this happen. 4 seats in business. It's very, very impressive. Very impressive. Love the channel. Thanks, Cam. Thanks for tuning in. Is it a good time to transfer Platinum MR points to Aeroplan? Never a bad time, I would say, because there's never really any transfer bonuses there. So it doesn't make much of a difference. When will this stream end? Let's go to 5:20, 5:30, because after this, I did want to plan a few 2022 trips. That's what I wanted to do. And we have a lot of people in here. We got much more people than the last couple of streams. Don't know why. Maybe it's the trip planning. Maybe it's long weekend. People are happy to tune in. Either way, welcome, and I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're here. I think we're all feeling bullish on the future of travel, especially since, 4 hours from now, fully vaccinated Canadians will be able to come home without quarantine. That's excellent news. So we're all feeling bullish. We're all happy to look forward to travel. And hey, for the many of you guys in here, if you have any topics for videos or articles that you want to see, or even streams that you want, like even topics or trips or searches that you want us to do here on this stream, don't hesitate to shout it out. Any news on Aeroplan multi-city reward booking online? Yeah, that would make it a lot easier doing what we do here, wouldn't it? No news. And in this case, no news is not good news because they really need to get a move on with that, in my opinion. So let's hope. I think multi-city, the first edition. Yeah, actually, multi-city, right? Here's what we have right now. If you were to put this through, what it does is it combines the two costs of the two one-way bounds into a single award, but it just adds up the two costs of the one-way bounds. So it's not really an accurate pricing of a one-way bound with a stopover. By the end of 2021, we should see a multi-city tool like this that supports accurate one-way pricing. So what it will do is it will allow you to add a stopover on a one-way and price it with the 5,000 points to the stopover rather than combining the two. So rather than making you pay like way more than you need to pay, and it's actually a little bit, let's call it, let's call it like user unfriendly, to put it lightly, because nowhere on the site is the fact that you can have a 5,000 point stopover made clear at all, right? Nowhere on the site is that made clear. So if it's an unwitting Aeroplan user and they want to add a stopover, if they just want to do like two separate one-way flights, I'm not actually going to search, just illustrate. If they wanted to have a stopover here, they would just get overcharged. They would just get overcharged and they would be none the wiser. So they really need to fix this. They really need to roll out that new stopover situation. But then the full custom routing tool, which lets you basically input flights 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm pretty sure it'll go all the way up to like 10 or 12. Actually, that might be a bit ambitious, but I'm pretty sure it'll go like at least 5 or 6. It'll let you do that. It'll let you input the dates and then calculate. Basically, it's going to be the exact same tool as the phone agents have when they're pricing out your itineraries. That's supposed to come in 2022. So it'll still be a long wait for that. What are we doing? We're doing Warsaw, Toronto. Later on, November. Just want to see what LOT Polish Airlines availability looks like. But now that, just now I had the thought that since I've already flown LOT before and it's a fairly standard, okay, so there is space, that's good. It's a fairly standard experience. It's 222 forward-facing seats. I am curious to try the new Air Serbia service. Because Air Serbia is obviously a partner that joined Aeroplan right as the program launched in November 2020. They have Belgrade, New York on A330s. I'm not sure if they've launched the Toronto one. Does anybody know? Maybe they haven't. Okay, it looks like they've only got intra-Europe connections. All right, so what do we do now? We go to our tools and we search for the answer to our question. So we can get rid of Senegal. And what are we doing? We're doing Belgrade, which I've been to before, but it was only a very quick one-night stay on my backpacking through Europe trip back in 2015 now. Okay. All right, we're filtering for Star Alliance. So Air Serbia, obviously, even though it's an Aeroplan partner, it's not part of Star Alliance. Okay, yeah, looks like they have the JFK routes and they've mooted the idea of flying to Toronto lots of times, but they haven't officially launched just yet. So what we're going to do now is we're going to search specifically for this route because I am curious if they'll allow me to fly it. I do want to fly it. I do want to see what Air Serbia is all about. Most likely it's just going to be, standard European business class. But it's always nice to have a new experience. So let's do November plus or minus 3 days. Okay, that's new. Never seen this happen before. It's fairly rare that they don't show business on Expert Flyer. I'm learning something new here, that they don't have business on Air Serbia for the search. Wonder why that is. If anybody knows, drop it in the chat. For now, might just be a matter of searching here from Belgrade to JFK. And then combining that, okay, here's a tip. If you just click on, if you just highlight this route, you can see which dates Air Serbia flies. So we know only to search the days other than Sunday and Tuesdays. How's chat doing? La, you're in Whitehorse. Send an email. Send an email. Yeah. If there's any other Yukonites, whatever you call yourselves, I'm sure we'll learn when we get there. Get in touch because we would love to connect. I didn't know we had that many or any viewers from the territories, but it'll be fascinating to chat and learn more about life up there. Okay, triple leg trip was about 10 days in total length. Is that enough time? Yeah, great point. So I think for that one, that I don't think it was enough time. I think I need to expand the time, especially in Georgia. That's why I'm kind of replanning this trip. In general though, if it's 10 days split across 2 cities, so keep in mind that was 3 flights, but 2 cities, right? Tbilisi in Georgia and Kiev in Ukraine. 5 days in each place, I think it's plenty, especially if it's a first time visit. What I like to do is even if it's 2 days or even 1 day somewhere, a first time visit, if I just, jam pack it with what I need to do, I'm very satisfied with the new experience and I get a sense of whether I would like to return and how urgently I would like to return. Five days in a first time visit is actually pretty rare for me, but okay, there we go. Belgrade, New York, business class. Perfect. This is what I'm going to be trying to get Air Canada to rebook me on when I call in about this trip. I'm going to see if they can do, swap out the lot for Air Serbia and if they can honor the old price. Again, no guarantees that they can because it all depends on the agent. I have heard a few data points recently that they've loosened the rules on changing old itineraries. Somebody said that you can move dates. Some people did say that they had flexibility in terms of the routing. So it's just a matter of playing Aeroplan agent roulette. All right, these are the plans here. Let us pop back into the screen. I did want to, quick fire through some of the questions that have popped up here. And then we'll get back into 2022 trip planning before we end the stream half past the hour. No transfer bonus. Oh wait, sorry. Somebody was asking about. Okay, Aeroplan. Not Aeroplan. Avios. Any transfer bonuses from Amex MR to Avios? Yeah, we've seen 30% and 50%, and we haven't seen any this year. And we haven't seen any bonuses from RBC Avion. Keep getting confused. Either for a long time. And I think we're all waiting for those transfer bonuses to come back. Now we know that American Express isn't shy to do bonuses because we've seen them do 25% and then 30% with Marriott Bonvoy. So Amex isn't shy to do the bonuses. So I'm pretty sure it's on the British Airways side that they're feeling, they're not really feeling like doing the bonuses because of the situation around travel. Hopefully they'll change their mind by late 2021 and then we'll see some bonuses from both the Amex and RBC sides. And when that happens, right, because it's been so long, I'm hopeful that we'll get a 50% bonus right off the bat. Any epic Hyatt redemptions? AG, you commented here about Hyatt redemptions. I already did a couple on my China trip. I did the Park Hyatts in Shanghai and Shenzhen. Shenzhen was really nice because I got a suite upgrade. The Shanghai one, they are very, the property's not stingy with suites. They just don't have that many and they get booked months in advance. So if you're thinking about hitting up Park Hyatt Shanghai, I'd recommend planning in advance and try to see if you can apply one of your suite upgrade instruments to confirm that. I also stayed at the Alila Hotel in Wuzhen, which is like a water town on the outskirts of Shanghai. Also an awesome experience. I got a really nice villa upgrade there. So I would agree with the overall assessment that Hyatt treats elites better than Marriott, certainly better than Hilton. And in terms of future Hyatt redemptions, Park Hyatt Toronto is supposed to be opening this fall. And on my trip to the US this summer, I will see if I can hit up the Park Hyatt New York too, because New York for me is like a place of, there's so many luxury hotel options. And after doing the St. Regis, I think the Park Hyatt would be a natural point of comparison. How to book the second leg in Asia Miles. You can do it through online chat. Dave. Asia Miles, and this is for everybody by the way, Asia Miles lets you, their online search engine, their online booking engine isn't the greatest, but you can actually type in your request through online chat, and the agents are pretty well versed in the rules, and they will help you locate the space and process the booking. When it comes to making the payment, it's a little bit convoluted because they have to send you an email with a payment link, or somebody has to call you over the phone. But yeah, it's possible to do it over online chat at your leisure rather than having to call Asia Miles and do it over the phone. Any chance of another Chris Flyer transfer bonus? Well, Chris Flyer has been not shying away from doing transfer bonuses over the course of the pandemic, and since Singapore is still wavering in uncertainty, right, in terms of reopening, I would say there's a decent chance of another bonus. Although I think their Star Alliance Gold one is still ongoing. Either that or it recently ended. What are the top 3 techniques? All right, let's get into these juicy ones. Hotel chains. All right, let's start with hotel chains selling their points on sale. Does it make sense to buy? The answer is only if you know what you're going to use those points for, and you know that you're getting a better value than the price that you're buying at. Straight up answer. That's the only time when it makes sense to buy points. And if you're in a rush to earn those points and you don't want to wait to get them through credit card welcome bonuses instead, then yeah, it makes sense to buy. But if you're just buying to hold them without a clear idea as to when to use them in the future, then no, because they can always devalue. What are the top 3 techniques for spending to get an intro offer? Okay, basically there's techniques that involve front-loading future spend, and this is stuff like buying gift cards for stuff that you're gonna buy in the future, or prepaying your bills, or using Plastique to prepay bills, or either hopping onto, let's say, your mobile service provider and prepaying a huge amount if they allow you to do that. That's one, front-loading your future spend. 2, finding ways to coral together a bunch of spend that you yourself are not going to incur, right? So seeing if you can pay for expenses at work and get reimbursed, or if you're part of your work's lunch group, if you can buy people lunch, get reimbursed from your colleagues. If you're going out to lunch with your friends, paying the bill, get reimbursed in cash. If you have a tight relationship with your family, getting them to put their large expenses on your card and then paying it off on their behalf. And just kind of explaining that you're in it for the points, and then offering to introduce them to the game as well, and obviously use your referral links. That's 2, correlating together spend that's not your own. 3, buying yourself more time, right? We talk about the refundable hotel trick, which is when you, what's the best way to describe it? You book a refundable hotel for later on, and that buys yourself time to meet the spend organically during that period. It's a little bit convoluted. You need to buy, the refundable hotel that brings you over the spending threshold, but you don't refund it until you've organically met the spending threshold. And you can only safely refund it after you've met the spending threshold, because then you've never dipped below the spending threshold and you won't get your points clawed back. If you Google refundable hotel trick, our article should be the first result. And finally, manufactured spending, which is a series of techniques, right, that we generally don't talk about publicly for reasons that are well documented. But that basically involves not correlating together other spend that you yourself are not doing, but actually putting spend on the card that you yourself are not doing. Basically spending money in a way that you can liquidate into cash and pay off your bill. Yeah, that I would say that falls into the category of stuff that tends to get discussed in more private settings than this. But if you have any questions about how like MS works in general, you can feel free to shout it out too. I see also here in the chat people have been shouting out their ideas for meeting spend, and it's always good to share those ideas too. Avoid Amex Exile with all the Amexile, yeah, with all the crazy welcome bonuses. Well, keep in mind, welcome bonuses themselves are not going to get you exiled, right? I think it's the practice of closing and reapplying for cards year after year that has gotten some individuals exiled. Others have not gotten it, and then yet others who seem to have not done that, or maybe they did like MS on the side, or maybe they played other tricks with other stuff on American Express. It doesn't seem to be conclusive in that sense. But I think one common thread is probably, repeated behavior of, let's call it unprofitable behavior. The kind of behavior that American Express in the US had implemented that dreaded pop-up to combat. They're trying to incentivize, like healthy long-term card holdership. So to answer your question, like, you've got Platinum Card 150K. We've got Aeroplan Reserve 150K. Both cards have high annual fees, $4.99 effective and $5.99 respectively, right? And even if the cards make sense to apply for in the first year, maybe they don't make sense for you to keep into the second year. And I don't think that's something that you will get punished for if you decide not to renew. But you should renew some cards to keep that relationship going, right? To show that you are not relentlessly cycling through every single card to get every single bonus, because that's the mark of unprofitable behavior. So since the Amexile, look, before 2020, the strategy was, if you're comfortable with the risk, go for it. Go for the bonuses on whichever cards, because there had never been anything so punitive that we've ever observed before. But since 2020, the strategy has been, all right, if you got the Bonvoy card, if you got the Bonvoy business, and you're getting that free night award every year anyway, it's probably worth keeping, because the free night award outweighs the annual fee of $120 or $150. And even if you were to close the card and apply for it again, you're only getting a bonus. Okay, now there's 105,000, but before that you were only getting a bonus of 50 to 60K. So if you can get 35K from keeping the card and prolong your relationship and keep that healthy relationship, I would say it's worth it. Same for the Cobalt card, right? 5 times the spend on MR Select. On Eats and Drinks. And earning MR Select points, which you can then pool with your Bonvoys. That's kind of my philosophy on the whole thing. Try to win at the long game, also at the short-term game. Obviously, if you're happy to play the short-term game, if you're happy to raid the bonuses, that's also your prerogative. Just be aware of the risks. Any video soon coming on the latest all-inclusive Amex strategy? Yeah, great question, Renee. So I definitely think I'm going to make a video about the summer credit card strategy, because there's lots of stuff happening. There's the Amex bonuses, there's BizPlat, Platinum, Aeroplan Reserve, Aeroplan Card. That's one that I think is worth highlighting in particular. $120 annual fee and 75,000 points on the bonus is nothing to scoff at. You've got the Bonvoy cards, you've got the Aeroplan cards with the buddy passes. So it's a real wealth of bonuses available for the taking, and it all depends on your spending capacity and your tolerance for annual fees and your ability to keep track of everything. How does one collect points without flying too much? Yeah, credit card sign-up bonuses, exactly. What loyalty program would you recommend to go to Asia? I think Aeroplan will still be dominant for pretty much all destinations from a Canadian perspective. Asia Miles is a good secondary program for going to Asia if you can rack up the points, particularly through profitable like RBC strategies. People are talking in here about okay, people are talking about the Amex style, but we'll get back to that. I just wanted to get to the Amex US Platinum card. US Platinum card. What do we think? Who's gonna go sign up for Equinox Fitness because of it now? Especially if you live in Canada, there's really no point to it because there's like 3 Canadian locations. Overall, I'm a current US Platinum card holder. I think it's really a toss-up for me. I'm probably gonna. Well, I don't have to renew the card until 2022 at $6.95, but when the time comes, I'm probably gonna keep it because, well, yeah, because the 5 times the points on airfare is fairly strong, and it's also a reason to not have to keep my Canadian one all the time. But then again, I probably will. Yeah, I'm still on the fence. I'm still on the fence with the US Platinum. What I probably will do is drop my US Business Platinum because I had gotten that in 2019 when it had the WeWork benefit, and it was worth it then. It was arguably worth it last year when I renewed. They offered me a $200 credit, but this year I can't see it being worth it anymore, especially if they drop some of the benefits that they've been doing. Does Amex Canada still not have a rewards abuse team? No idea. I think there was speculation that when they started closing people's accounts, that was the rewards abuse team coming into play. So it could be. And yeah, don't burn bridges with Amex. I agree. Don't burn bridges. That's something I would say I recommend. But you said here that the blacklist holds 10 years. There is at least one confirmed instance of somebody who got shut down last year who successfully reapplied. So it's not permanent. "12 minutes to go." Okay, let's hang out and chat. Somebody commented earlier that I look tired, and yeah, like I mentioned, there is a bit of jet lag at play, so I will leave the 2022 trip planning to a little bit later on. If you guys had some questions about trip planning, about anything you'd like to see, still shout them out here and I'll pay attention to it next time. But let's hang out and chat. And soon we'll be wishing our East Coast friends good night anyway. Well, maybe not soon, but yeah, let you guys enjoy your evenings after 1:30. Alila Hotels. Yeah, Alila Hotels really nice. Really looking forward to checking out more of their places. They've got mostly places in Asia, Middle East, Southeast Asia. A couple of their Indonesia properties look really nice, and Middle East as well. Will you be bringing Amy, Kieran, TJ, our fellow writers, on a live stream? Yeah, let's do it. We will be. We'll be looking to mix things up in the future. I just wanted to get the ball rolling on a couple of sessions. But depending on, people's availability, especially as their areas of expertise, family travel. I feel like lots of families are looking to embark on a few easy trips this summer, and Amy's written a few nice articles, so, and I know she's doing the West Coast herself. If not this week, then soon. So lots to share. Alan, still salty about the Park Hyatt Toronto going to Cat 6. Aren't we all, my friend? The question on my mind is, have they refurbished Park Hyatt Toronto enough to make it a Cat 6, to make it on par with some of the better properties in Asia and around the world. Personally, I kind of doubt it, but then again, overinflated points prices in North America is nothing new. Is nothing new. Yeah, Tyler. Yeah, the Whirlpool suite is the one I had gotten, and honestly, it's just like a big jacuzzi in the room. So it's kind of like the whole W Hotels vibe, but without the glitz and glamour factor. It's a nice enough hotel. If you got platinum status, then you get the lounge access, and like I mentioned, the staff is awesome too. What loyalty program do you suggest for domestic travel in First? Ojaswi, great question. Great question. That's something I need to research more, and I'll get back to you because I need to do some U.S. domestic travel at some point this summer, and I've always heard nightmares about like the whole domestic travel situation in terms of the value of using points, the availability, the cash fares being, reasonably low, I guess, for domestic flights, but then in premium cabins, kind of high. And then it's just like even if you book premium cabins, first class and the U.S. is probably not as good as A220 business class in Air Canada. Not to mention all the people like losing their shit on U.S. airlines that we've seen. Just want Asia to reopen already. Yeah, Emma. I think we all feel that way. But I think there are positive signs, right? I mentioned in the last video, Hong Kong reopening to vaccinated non-residents with a 7-day quarantine. 7 days is still something to deal with, but personally, after doing so many 14-day quarantines, I think I can do 7 days, no problem. No problem. Since you're in Vancouver now, are you going to hang out with one more week to go? Alvin, from one more week to go? Yeah, probably. We will at least do some plane spotting at some point. He's really talented. I really admire his photography skills, and I need to learn from him. Is there a point to keeping the Cobalt card if you get a Platinum card? I think the two cards' value propositions in terms of earn rates kind of overlap in terms of the return on dining. It also depends on if you're more interested in collecting points for airlines or for hotels. The Cobalt card, obviously excellent for hotels. I think the Cobalt card is cheap enough to hold for 1 year. So I think what I would recommend is use the Platinum card for 1 year, and then when it comes time to renew the Platinum card, that's when you have to decide, is the $4.99 less any Amex offers credits, is that worth it? And if so, then if you only want to keep one, then you could drop the Cobalt as a result. It also depends on how hard you're hitting 30 grand limit on Cobalt for your 5 times the points. Once again, going back to our previous topic, our forbidden topic of manufactured spending, right? Something to think about. Hey, Alex. Alex, thanks for tuning in. Hope you're doing well in Winnipeg. Since you've done Euros and World Cup planning, an article about how to plan trips to worldwide events. We're thinking about doing Qatar 2022. That's a great shout out. And once November 2021 comes around, definitely expect to see an article about my strategies for Doha hotels and airlines. I mean, airlines should be easy enough. Avios, Asia Miles, American, redeem on Qatar Airways, right? Into Doha, straight up. And then you can use Avios to hop around the region too. But hotels, there's St. Regis's, Ritz-Carlton's, W's in Doha. There's plenty of hotels. The question is, are they going to limit their capacity? And, whether or not they do, how far are the rooms going to get booked up? Personally, I've been really, reveling in the football recently. You guys should shout out who you think is going to win the tournament. I personally think, obviously, Italy is looking really strong, but I think I'm on Team Denmark. I'm on the teams, I'm following Denmark's story, right, since the first game. I'm really hoping they do well. But yeah, Qatar 2022, watching the football has gotten me dreaming about next year, and Definitely hope to spend an extended period of time in Qatar and hopefully catch a few matches and then also take a few side trips to other spots in the Middle East. Ooh, quick sweet spot. If you redeem Avios on Qatar Airways first class, because their business class intra Middle East is marketed as first class, if you redeem Avios, it's only like 24,000 Avios one way for these intra Middle East flights. Especially now that the Gulf blockade has been lifted, you can go to Dubai, you can go to Abu Dhabi, you can go to Cairo on Qatar Airways first class, and you can get access to the first class lounge, which is super exclusive and arguably overkill for that short flight. But the idea is you book that short, like 1 hour flight across the Gulf. You arrive at the Qatar Airways Al Safwa first class lounge 5-6 hours in advance. You get your sit-down meal, you get your drinks at the bar, you get your spa treatment, you get your private room, take a nap before your first hour flight, rub shoulders with the people who actually booked long-haul first class. That's the sweet spot. Obviously, we're waiting for the first class lounge to reopen, but seems like it won't be long. Am I going to start posting on the Prince of Travel Instagram? For sure, for sure. Guys, make sure you go subscribe. Subscribe to our socials. We're going to start posting a lot more frequently. Look, I'm just going to shamelessly shout out here. Go subscribe to the Prince of Travel Instagram. It does not have any content right now, but we're going to be launching it. And I really hope that we can do a good job with it. The idea is just that I previously had a Prince of Travel Instagram, obviously, but it was more personal than the business. So we've decided to separate the two, and we're going to be bringing all of our points and travel advice over to the Instagram platform on this page. Look out for it soon. I hope to launch it sometime this month, but it depends on some other puzzle pieces that I have to move in place. Can you redeem Alaska Miles, Anthony, for business class tickets on Qatar Airlines similar to Avios, get the first class lounge? Yeah, so Alaska redemptions on Qatar is coming in August. We don't know the redemption rates yet. We don't know them yet, but we will know them soon. Anthony, look out for that. Watch this space. It'll be a big deal when they announce it, especially if it's decent value. Hopefully it will be. Spirit Airlines, $20 one way to hell. Chalin Fernando. So we're talking about US one-ways, US domestic flights. I might just do a Spirit Airlines flight just for the experience because I've never done it before. I might give it a go. Spirit, Frontier, whatever it is. It's something that we don't have enough of in Canada, so I might give it a go. We'll see. If it's something like, I don't know, Los Angeles, San Francisco, I don't know if Spirit flies that, but if they do, I might consider it. Is your keyboard a super cool mechanical keyboard? I wouldn't say it's super cool. I just got it because I know some other YouTubers were using it and I liked the noise that it made. And also I needed a better typing solution for kind of the default Mac keyboard. It was just hurting my wrists. So I really like this. It really makes it a lot more enjoyable for me to be typing blog posts, typing up content, and hopefully I will be able to work more enthusiastically than I already do as a result. All right, people, we're coming to 5:30, so that means we're gonna wrap up the stream. I'll just, I guess we're wrapping up here with some discussion about the US budget carriers, Spirit and Frontier, and we've also talked about Flair in Canada. No, I haven't tried Flair yet. I don't really see when I will because I prefer to fly AC domestically, but maybe one time for the review, just for the hell of it. Yeah, and Anthony, you had a question up there. Why do I want to go to Bahrain? Why not? That's the answer. I've heard Bahrain is like a chilled out, less ostentatious version of Dubai, so that's kind of intriguing, and I want to kind of see what different parts of the Middle East are like. And so yeah, it's like one of the countries in the Middle East. In the Middle East, I haven't been to. They've got a fairly nice airline and airport as well, so I'm intrigued. I'd like to go check it out. Ooh, Michael, thank you for the super chat. Right at the end, right at the death here. Michael, thank you. Thanks for the support. I'm gonna probably go take a nap now and hopefully not oversleep like I did yesterday, so that I can get some proper sleep tonight and then tomorrow get some proper work done. And Alan, you said don't go down the rabbit hole of mechanical keyboards. I'm just at the start of the rabbit hole, right? I'm just at the start, so we'll see what the future holds. But here, I'll show you guys. It actually looks super nice. I love the look of it. But I know people get super deep into replacing all the keycaps and stuff. And anyway, we will discuss more on a future stream. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Enjoy the rest of your evening and your afternoons if you're on the West Coast. Stay safe, stay optimistic, and we'll come back for another travel and chill chat before you know it. All right, talk soon. Bye.